Hey guys, Tarek here, bringing you a 2v2 today. We are on Alliance of Defiance. Playing today, spawning in the north, we have Lobo playing as US Forces, who has Airborne, Tactical Support, and Infantry. Teaming up with him is, you can't see this, but Sun Moon playing as Soviets, who has Combined Arms Army, Guard Mode Coordination, and Mechanized Support. From the south, we have Al playing as Ostheer, who has Storm, Joint Ops, and Assault Support. No, lock into Assault Support. There we go. And finally, Han and Tang Dynasties playing as OKW, who has Elite Armoured, Overwatch, and Firestorm. Somebody told me that, you know, like this portion of the name, which is Han and Tang Dynasties, is the actual name, and this is like a clan tag. I looked through the game history though, nobody they've played an arranged team game with shares this clan tag at all, so I'll take your word for it, but I'm not convinced. So first scrap for the fuel on the right hand side. Kubel though going to swing things in the favour of Han and Tang Dynasties. Meanwhile we've got some heavy cover coming up on the fuel point. Bit of a passive start here for Lobo, but coming in from the side, looks like he's going to go for the cutoff. I think it's maybe a little bit too early to be going for the cutoff. You probably should be contesting the fuel directly, especially in the very early stages where riflemen just blast grenadiers and pyros. If you catch the machine gun slightly out of position, you can just completely overwhelm the Ostheer player. So looks like he's biding his time, but then the second grenadier comes in, so rifleman now outnumbered, and oh, that's not the best way to be controlling that. Accidentally vaults over the wall. That's why you got to like drag, right click drag into cover rather than just trying to right click on it, because you can accidentally vault those pieces of heavy cover like sandbags or walls, and that's no good. So you know, one of the earliest things covered in the Micro Tips series. So looks like the Allies getting off to a bit of a rough start. Do force back the Kuhwagen, but still might not be able to contest the fuel point effectively. A couple of Fox Grenadiers coming in though. Currently hiding behind this tree line. This squad not really impactful at this stage. Pretty even fight here, heavy cover versus heavy cover. But in the meantime, you know, it's to the Owl's favour because he's got a squad coming in reinforcements. He's in control of the fuel. He's wiring off this side of the map as well. It's a pretty good idea actually. You don't see it too often, but shutting down that flanking route. Especially if he... was it off? Yeah, so the doors on that side. Alright. Hasn't wired close to the building yet though. So already got medics and anti-tank grenades for Sun Moon, so that's where all his manpower's been invested. Does mean he's fighting one squad down at the moment though, so really struggling for territory control, especially combined with that Kugelwagen pressure. Does at least, you know, jump down onto the cutoff, hold that for a long time. The combat engineers nearly going to be able to complete the capture, but ooh, I didn't see that mine there. Well done by Sun Moon, and he's got enough firepower there to finish the Kuhwagen off after that. Oh, what was this? What was that? And grenade tick actually from Lobo very early on. Wow, why was he wiring like this? Maybe he was trying to wire it entirely so you can't like jump through the building to flank. It's just taking a very long time to get that wire completed. I forgot to mention the ranks actually, didn't I? So distracted by their names. Welcome to the death factory, boys. Stick with me. I'll tab out for that. There's not much going on at the moment. Han and Tang Dynasties is rank about 50. Owl in 180. Lobo 110. And Sun Moon 60-ish. Okay, there we go. Stimpo's in the light cover there. Crater, but more conscripts arriving to support. There's the Fox Grenadier blob though. Conscripts out in the open, no cover themselves. Big push in there from Lobo. Ooh, late retreat from Sun Moon ends up losing a conscript. They're now outnumbered 3 on 1. As I was saying, just not making very good use of the cover here. Trying to go for the decap, but can't even do that, and costing himself a huge amount of manpower in the process. Has locked into mechanized support, deploying some guards now, but this is a really bad start for Sun Moon. Take a quick look at the KD here. Lobo a little bit behind, but Sun Moon. Oof, that is nasty. Even for a Soviet player. There's some forward ambulance plays. Risky stuff there by Lobo. Has locked into infantry company. Rifle nade from the side. Ooh, big connection too. Rifle squad very close to going down, but he didn't chase the owl. There's an opportunity there. Just, I think, one more bullet required to get the kill. Bit of a shame not to see him going for the wipe on that, especially because there was some body blocking from the other squad impeding their retreat. And eventually, Lobo getting forced away. Close call on the rear echelon as well. These squads getting to the retreat path a bit here. Only real chance of getting a wipe here would be through like infiltration grenades. We can see that Han and Tang Dynasties doesn't have any commanders with infiltration grenades, so it's not an option. Dual conscripts looking for a bit of a flank around. Machine gun on the run now. Guards upgraded, and he threw a Molotov out over here. Ends up retreating through it. But a good cut-off play again from Han and Tang. It's gone for battle group, by the way. Gone for a kitten as well, so no flak half track. Which I think is maybe a little bit of a shame. I think it would be quite effective in this kind of scenario. Your opponent's like vehicles so heavily delayed. And generally, you know, being able to suppress the guards with a flak half track really nullify them. So a demo charge into the retreat path. Ooh, just a little bit too far off to the right. That was good thinking by Sun Moon, but doesn't pay off. A few M1919s equipped now for Lobo. Good MG positioning though, jumping back into the smoke. Before new suppression manages to come through as well. Good reactions by Lobo coming in from the side, but Lieutenant can't win against the officer. Ooh, and the officer calling down the heavy mortar strike. Wipes the lieutenant. I didn't see the smoke there. Maybe Lobo didn't either. Ends up getting wiped by that. Situation where you have to throw a Molotov. Not attempting it though. Just would make this go so much more smoothly. Guards though in firing positions, and the sandbags are about to be destroyed, so now the Stimpies have to get out. And a mortar coming in for Sun Moon, as well as a machine gun. He rebuilt that conscript squad that he lost as well. Incendiary grenade out. Fox blob on the attack. Suppression working nicely there by the MG34. Nice push in now by Lobo. He's got the 50 cal out. Couple M1919s rolling, so fighting very effectively against these grenadiers. Good dodge on that rifle nade by the rear echelon. They need to probably just close the distance on the grenadiers though, honestly. No, early retreat. I thought they'd hang in there at least until they got suppressed or low enough. And here comes the Stewart now. Quite a late Stewart though for Lobo. I know that maybe his fuel wasn't permitting to get this any earlier. But timing-wise in terms of fuel. He got it about as early as he could, but he also did take grenades and get the ambulance first, so that kind of delayed it by maybe about another minute and a half. It ends up being quite a late Stuart. But the thing is, the Owl, you know, having gone for a Opal Blitz, as well as the officer, he doesn't have any anti-tank at the moment. He's literally having to build his tier 2 tech right now because he has no answer to this Stuart. So it should allow Lobo some very good control on that side of the map for maybe the next like 3 or 4 minutes. Let's see what he can do with it. But yeah, generally, I'm not a big fan of the Opal Blitzes at this early of a stage. We'll see how that gets on. Especially at this stage, going for munitions as well, like, yeah. He's already got everything equipped with LMGs now. And munitions you're kind of saving for your late game abilities, which, you know, they're strong, but they're not like anti-tank, Overwatch strong, game-winning strong. In this case, I'd probably be trying to pump maybe just like a standard territory point. Extra fuel and munitions. Extra fuel, pushing out your medium tank earlier is more important at this phase of the game, I'd say. Oh man, the Axe is really up against it. Got some infantry support guns coming in now. Sherpan's headquarters is up and upgraded as well. Interesting to see him going for the ISG at this stage though. I suppose he is up against one Maxim, but I feel like, you know, if you've got the opportunity to go for Obers this early in the game, you take it. Oh boy, late retreat. There go the combat engineers. Instant rebuy on those. But yeah, if you can get the Obers so early, you know, you're not up against like Vet 3 allied infantry squads. You start vetting up your Obers very nicely if you take it. And you know, one machine gun shouldn't be just like locking you down completely. You should be able to like flank around it, especially on a map in a lane like this. Any opportunities to get around the side of it. Oh boy, big hit by the mortar though. Close range, must have some pretty tight scatter there. Stuart switching sides again. Do have a pack back there now. Hasn't got any veterancy on it. A little bit slow pushing forwards with the pack. Riflenate in, retreats.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Very slow pushing in with that pack. Stuart playing very conservatively as well. Squad's getting suppressed by the machine gun. Here comes the pack now, but there's a quite slow from the Owl pushing forwards there. Missing that first shot. Hoffman on the rear here, threatening with the grenades. Back, getting a couple hits in. Late grenade though, easy dodge by the Owl. Did at least, you know, get the decap on there, so denying the Axis there resources for quite some time. A lot of smoke out from both players, I believe. And you can see Han and Tang Dynasties just kind of running into the machine gun with his whole blob. Playing around that very effectively. But at this range, the ISG does have pretty tight scatter. Maxim very quick to dodge, though good reactions by Sun Moon.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Jumping into the building now. Guards, though, working well. Up to Vet 2 now in firing positions mode. It's been a good fight back by the Allies after a rough start.
Supply sector under attack.
Only down by 100 VPs now. New machine guns, yes, by Lobo. It's a pretty strong option as US forces. You know, between the M1919s and the 50 cals. That gives the Ostheer player a taste of their own medicine, really. The US player often experiences fighting against. Oftentimes I'd say maybe it's more effective in 1v1s, where it can be harder to afford rocket artillery than in these team games. So once that rocket artillery starts to fly, masses of support weapons can be a bit of a liability sometimes. But the Owl does have some tools. He's got his Panzer IV coming out. He could, of course, build a mortar to assist. Uh-oh. A little bit slow backing out, but no attack rounds by the Owl. He's got a lot of manpower floating as well. Let's put some of that to use. Just saying a mortar, a decent option, maybe a second pyro for more repairs. Do remember that the artillery field officer does have very good line of sight, so can help you spot those machine guns from long range, maybe smoke them with the smoke. But in this case, you know, with LMGs, you're not the strongest at pushing through the smoke with your grenadiers. Officer himself, though, with the MP40s is pretty decent, charging through the smoke. Especially against riflemen with M1919s instead of the bars. It's a pretty big difference. Panzer IV making a bit of a dive there, hoping to catch the half-track. Unsuccessful, but good hit. Clumped up on the light cover. He's getting aggressive, going for attack round there as well. That's where the aggression stops. See T-34 in the build for Sun Moon. And doesn't have any anti-tank gun yet. He's struggling still a little bit for manpower. It's a bit slow. Oh, has even things up almost to bang even now, though. Interesting. After that bad of a start, what a turnaround. I mean, it must be on the back of this mortar. Nearly Vet 3 already. Getting some big hits. Feels like Tang Dynasties kind of just been running into the machine gun with his infantry blob time and time again. Okay, switch over to the SU-85 now for Sun Moon. That's interesting. Stuart backing away here. One of the nice things about going for a commander with M1919s is you don't need to take weapon racks, but at the same time, it means you don't also have weapon racks at this stage of the game. You might need some bazookas to fend off your opponent's medium tank. So he's going for double rear echelon at this stage, which I'm very confused by. And going for weapon racks as well. So it looks like he does plan to make heavy use of bazooka rear echelon.
Rear echelon squad ready for action.
That's the officer's heavy mortar strike coming down there. Pretty easy dodge though by the allied troops. Looks like Lobo kind of degenerated his movement here into just moving his entire army forwards. But it was pretty successful with those kind of moves if you're not running into the Panzer IV. 50 cal is very good at just going head to head against MG42, and same story for the M1919 rifleman. It's one of the things that makes it quite easy to play these strategies. You don't have to constantly be worrying about trying to execute flanks and smokes and stuff. You can just move forwards and have great success.
Has arrived.
That's why I enjoy using them so much. Good Soviet mortar flare up there. Smoke and attack. SU-85 on the far side, going hunting for that Panzer IV. He hasn't done that much damage with the Panzer IV, honestly. Been playing quite conservatively with it.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Major bringing through a recon pass there. Good couple hits in there for the SU-85. Do have the pack, but it's not really in the best position to defend. You can see the Owl. Maybe it's one of his weaknesses at the moment. Very slow rotating his team weapons. Backing up the Panzer IV with a flak Panzer as well. That's unusual. Not up against any light vehicles. I mean, any anti-air requirements at the moment. Panzer coming in, trying to do some crushing here. That's going to be the end of the guards, I think. Conscripts, oh, no munitions. He's popped the marked vehicle, but no munis for an anti-tank grenade now. So flak pans are able to drive out of their full speed to safety. That might have been a bit of a misplay going for the marked vehicle instead of the anti-tank grenade.
Enemy has killed a machine gun crew.
MG going down though. Good push in here by Lobo.
Use them well.
So he's going to go for the steel on there as well. So he's going to have 4 machine guns now. So he got quite a lot of resources. Maybe he's going for the Jackson first. Which is a reasonable choice. If you've got this much anti-infantry, you can afford to go for the Jackson first. Maybe it's even a wise choice. The Katyusha out now. Sun Moon, double Raketans though. That was cool on the Su-85. Here comes the Katyusha barrage in return though. Well targeted. It's the D crew on one of them. Ooh, and catches the second, the Sternpile right at max range. Look at how far that rocket scattered compared to the rest of them to catch that Sternpile. If you're Han and Tang Dynasties, you'll be fuming. Frag bombs though, no dodge. Ooh, big damage, nearly knocking out a conscript there. Goes for the steal on the Raketin, could lose the squad though. No, getting suppressed in the center. Not going to be able to get the wipe on the conscript on retreat. So overall that trade works out pretty well for the Allies. Dropping in some artillery from the Major back here as well. And a second Opal Blitz for the Owl. This time though it is... oh, he's gone for 3 of them. I didn't notice the third one. Wow. Remember that those don't boost up your allies' resources. So it's quite selfish, you know, they cost the same as a cash or just about. And don't help your ally at all. Easier to keep alive than a cash generally, but... yeah. Seems like the Axis really struggling, getting pushed back at the moment. Owl requiring quite a lot of repairs on his tanks. Jackson in the build now for Lobo. The LMG blob is overwhelming there. Lobo charging ahead. There's the next Katyusha barrage, targeting the ISG. Building soaking up most of the rockets though. Doesn't take much damage at all. Allies still behind on the VPs though. Comes the Flak Panzer. Stuart's there to meet it though. I'm going to get away. This pretty much rounds out the army size of Lobo. Can't really afford to get anything else. This kind of composition is going to bleed a huge amount of manpower in the long term. So we'll see how he gets on. Like, he kind of needs to seal the game right now.
We're taking effective fire.
Oh, it's going to hurt in the long term. He's got a cash down as well, by the way. Jackson leading the charge. Don't really want to be doing that if possible. At risk of like running into an anti-tank gun, taking a Faust and then getting in some major trouble. Infantry first whenever possible in those kind of scenarios.
We're losing a capture point.
Before hiding behind the building, behind the bushes rather. Attack round in there though by Lobo. Some frag bombs coming in. Pretty good dodging though, only 2 models down. Panzer coming back in, but the Jackson's there. Quite defensive with the re-echelon though.
Just got wiped out.
If you anti-cal goes down to the double ISGs, and it looks like this is going to be a steal attempt for Harden Tank. And it kind of feels like Lobo at the moment getting a little bit overwhelmed in the execution department. Making a few suboptimal plays. And there's the big boy now. This is where things could get quite tricky for the Allies. King Tiger on the field. Sun Moon's still quite far away from his big boy. Oh boy. Big Katyusha hits there. So, you know, this could be a tough, like, 3 or 4 minutes for the Allies up against this King Tiger. J5 in a good position to start things off, though. Was locked into Elite Armoured, so going for the Commander upgrade on that KT, giving it some extra sight. Makes it a lot easier to use. J5 creeping forwards with the Focus Sight mode on, hits Vet 1 there. Gotta be careful, parked on his own mine. More repairing. Oh, P4 blitzing in here, but misses the first shot. So decides to back out. Conscripts were there, man. If they came in with the Ura anti-tank grenade, I think they could have died. These random teams, though, harder to coordinate that kind of stuff. And Major bringing in the recon planes. Nice cheap recon option in these team games. Soviet artillery's not quite ready to fire at this stage, though. No more to half-track is, perhaps. Next is still with the VP lead, though, at this stage. Oh, yeah, worth it. Targeting the machine gun, but it's long gone. Reactions. Wicket from the KT there. Double Raketans, by the way, for Sun Moon. Oh, there we go. What was he doing? Lingering in front of that King Tiger for so long. Maybe he's stuck on Focus Sight mode or something. Maybe it got caught on the flags, but activated the heat shells for the damage boost, and that S-35 dropped really fast. Elite Armoured King Tiger is a real menace with the Commander and Heat Shell combo. Uh-oh. Ooh, there goes the officer. He dropped down some artillery. Not worth losing his life over. Was that even the fake artillery? Wow. He's got the double Werfers, and he's got the officer now, so maybe he's planning to make use of the coordinated barrage. Maybe.
Officers can now be called in to rally our troops.
A bit dangerous at the moment. Back on the anti-tank gun. King Tiger mincing up those riflemen. Can't quite get the decrew with that grenades. Good Katyusha barrage knocking out the ISG. Come the double Raketans, try and creep in on the King Tiger. Second Jackson, I think, coming in for Lobo. Oh, but this could be nasty. Oh, there's all sorts of artillery coming down over here. Sun Moon on the run. Oof. Could have been a lot worse, though. Only lost one Raketan. You need to stay on those flares with that Soviet mortar. That's one of the best answers you have to the King Tiger with so much vision. Your own vision via the flares. Because yeah, it's honestly quite broken. The spearhead mode stacking with the spearhead. Spearhead and the commander sight stacking up. Okay, well, that's a big old whiff. I'm not sure what that was targeting. There's the coordinated barrage there as well, I think. Back to slow and control the VPs. Water half-track in some trouble here. Tiger decides to back off, however. Okay, here we go. Sun Moon able to save up for the ISU 152, so the hopes of the Allies riding on this at this stage. Oh boy, bit of a play down the far side by Lobo. Catches the Panzer IV isolated. Where is the anti-tank gun support? It's nowhere to be found. It's back in base, in fact. And there goes the Panzer IV. Black Panzer coming in, acting as a bit of bait perhaps. Jackson's charging ahead, but with the smoke there from the vehicle wreckage, doesn't work out too well. Needs to keep backing away with a wounded Jackson. Oh, he catches the Panzerwerfer from downtown though. Might lose this, the pack's coming in. But the pack shooting at the healthy Jackson, not ideal. Frag bomb's missing. Volkswagen is down as well. The pack just shooting at every vehicle, not focused on the wounded one. That is going to allow that to escape. More Katyusha Raj is coming in. Big boys going head to head in the center. Oh, the Flak Panzer coming in with the Blitz. Wipes out one rifleman. He's vetted up, so he's got a really good rate of fire going. And this Jackson just spinning around in circles, getting caught on all the terrain. Here comes the Stuart. Could go for the crippling shot is what it's called now. I thought it used to be called point blank engine shot. But there we go. Flak Panzer does end up going down. Finally gets that Jackson back in there. And knocks out the Flak Panzer. And this is really because the Owl didn't have enough anti-tank. The Flak Panzer... It's just... going for its second. It's a bit shaky if you don't need the anti-air. Actually needing to switch rounds here. He's done so now, but bouncing that first hit. Major coming in from the side with some Zooks. Jackson coming in now as well. Quite a lot of damage onto the King Tiger. Be in some trouble. ISU maybe losing sight there for the last hit on the exit. Maxim just hanging in. Major dropping some artillery out the back. Heavily wounding those stern posts. Okay, he's ready to fire again now as well. I wonder if like a creeping barrage along this axis would actually knock out the flak base from there. That amount of health. Might do, right? Get the flare up again now. Kitten creeping in. Opening up though. Okay, killing off the decrew weapon. Allies, getting some good wins there, but still quite far behind on the VPs. He's coming in with the Stuart. Oh boy, hit him with the crippling shot there. Stuart though losing vision, coming around the side of the trees. Oh, gets annihilated by the King Tiger. The Tiger's very low though, the Double Jackson's diving in, but the Stuart wreck I think blocking his sight. Oh, but he gets it somehow. One Jackson goes down in the process. But I think that's a trade I'll probably take. The artillery officer died as well during all that. But yeah, I think I'd take that trade, a Jackson and a Stuart for a Tiger. Especially in the positions the Axis are in at the moment. We're relying quite heavily on that Tiger. Oh, really nasty Katyusha barrage. Now the Axis are right up against it. Look at these army size differentials. What a swing in favor of the Allies. And this is largely because the Owl just not having enough anti-tank support. Have that one Tiger backed up by a pack that wasn't really in the right position. Went down quite fast. Good dive by the Lobo. He saw the opportunity, went for it. It was a bit risky. Easily the Tiger could have escaped there. I thought the wreck blocking the vision, that was that, but quite. Big damage onto the Jagdpanzer. Major recon providing some vision. She's not able to get in range for the finishing shot, but some good damage onto the Tiger. King Tiger. Ooh, a bit of a waste losing the Major like that though. Is out for repairs. Good idea to put in cautious movement as well, because even if something like AoE hits here, when it's in cautious movement mode, barely ever takes damage in those scenarios. So bringing down the smoke again, trying to cap behind that. Oh, it does have those grenades though, can toss those in. Pretty good coordinated strike there. Here they come on the actual Werfer hits now. Retreats from in time, and the officer nearly dies again. That's got to be what, the fourth officer he's built? Close call. Let's use on high explosive at the moment, so not the best against the King Tiger. Not switching rounds either. So he's going to lose his Raketen. There it goes. Su-85 next for Sun Moon, which I think is a good idea. A bit of a flank coming in here from the zooked up squads. Make sure he doesn't run into that flak base again. Oh god. Luckily though, the flak base seemed to be repairing or something, or reloading. And there it goes. Goes down quite quickly. Weakened by the time on target, I think. Gets stunned by the Pax Tiger weak point, but maybe losing sight. Nope, gets it. Tries to smoke to cover it. Good idea with the grenade, but Tiger weak point sealing its fate. And that was the Vet 3 Jackson as well. It's a pretty big loss, really. Marked vehicle on the Jagdpanzer out the back, denying it cautious movement opportunities. Switches over to the King Tiger, but here comes the pack from the side now. That's enough for the engine crit. Chushabra's Werfer strike going back the other way. Best Werfer damage though, honestly. It's just providing vision. We've got some artillery coming down. I don't think someone's noticed. Here he goes now. I think that's from the King Tiger. Oh, it's a coordinated strike again. Oof, okay. Still alive with those combat engineers. Oh boy. Yep, close call. Good reaction times with the Su-85 that time. Oh boy, but he could be dead. Jagdpanzer missing. Here comes the Jackson. ISU still on high explosive, by the way.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Chusha about ready to fire. Bazooka's trying to get in there, but bounce, bounce, bounce. The hull gun as well causes him to get suppressed. Ooh, when it's in spearhead mode like that. Oof. King Tiger, those resilient. Nearly a Vet 3 now as well. Interesting, he goes for a flak half track. Not entirely sure why. The thing it really can shoot at is the marked vehicle planes, right? Grenadiers. Let's see the Allies still with a army-sized lead, about 20 pop cap up. That King Tiger is doing a tremendous amount of damage. Now a Puma. I'm guessing this is going to go for a Katyusha dive. So, okay, there's a mine there and over here. So a few mines down on the flank by Sun Moon. Help keep that Katyusha safe.
Armor ready. Incoming fire! A capture point is under attack.
There we go. Lands 1 out of 4 hits for damage. Decent idea here, coming out to the far side, going to go for some capping. Panzer has a pretty big edge now in these head-to-head fights. Now it's got its Vet 2 extra health. Can make use of that cautious movement as well. Tricky to deal with. Here we go, Puma coming in. He's got his sweeper forwards. Not far enough though to sweep down here if that's where he's trying to go. Jackson's getting the work there. Jagdpanzer popping the heat shells though. I think that Jackson's on one shot. SU-85 now in some trouble. Oh, King Tiger missing the kill shot on the SU-85. He's getting repaired up by the double combat engineers during all this as well. Jackson coming back in, but missing. Oh, he's diving in too deep though. Could go down. Oh, very low, but the Jagdpanzer backed out during all that. MG going down. Here comes the Puma, but it did indeed hit those mines. Going hunting for the Katyusha, but not going to find it. Or maybe he will. No. Just because do pretty good damage, especially against the rear armor of the Puma. Pretty decent penetration on them. So that didn't really work out. Really need to get, you know, like you have to expect mines around here, right? You really need those sternpipes to sweep all the way up there if you want to go for a dive like that.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Good reactions there from Lobo, but still gets caught right on the edge of that Werfer strike. Time on target out the back, looking to knock out the Mechanized truck next. Try and shut down some of these Axis repairs. Or a nasty Katyusha. There goes infantry support gun. Ah, he's making use of the creeping barrage. Look at that. Massive damage from that creeping barrage. Really well done. And it's all thanks to the spotting from the mortar flare. Shows you how valuable those mortars are at this stage. Yeah, Shalom trying to go head to head with the P-Greens. They're doing alright. P-Greens though do get that combat vet at the first stage of veterancy, so yeah, quite formidable still. The Werfer's doing 19 and 11. I know they rebuilt one of those, but maybe not as many as you'd hope, given that he did go for a coordinated barrage style. They're making heavy use of that. Allies have been, I'd say, reasonable about dodging it so far, though, as well. He's calling in the strafing run. Allies making a big old push down here, but it's kind of splitting their damage between the King Tiger and the Jagdpanzer. Oh, there we go though. Jackson does get away alive at least. Both of the OKW tanks also getting away alive. You can see the strength of that cautious movement. catching the Allies unaware, nearly knocking out that Jackson. I forget what the Jagdpanzer gets in those last two stages of Vet. I think it... Oh, it's Vet 5, it gets a bonus coming out of camo. Alright.
All complete.
Pretty good hits by the Werfers. Knock out the mortar, nearly knocked out both the combat engineers as well. Really, really good hits with that. Goes for the Reeker on the mortar. It's still very valuable. You've seen how much the flares have helped the Allies. Continuously firing them up. Really helps, especially against the spearhead extra sight on that KT. Be careful though with the Katyusha potentially blocking his own ISU. The damage coming in on that King Tiger, the double Jackson striking hard. Comes the Jagdpanzer though, SU-85s. Gotta be careful. Oh, one more shot and he's dead. He's getting blocked by the mortar. But he loses sight. So SU-85 surviving. T-34 coming in from the side. ISU continuing forwards. Oh, but misses that shot. Oh, and there goes the T-34. I think he'd survive one more shot anyway. SU-85's chasing in, hoping for the kill, but more likely to get killed himself. Oh boy. Tiger overextending. Anti-tank grenades coming through. The double Jacksons there. Just needs to maintain sight. Double Jacksons around the corner. Could still lose one of the Jacksons here. Slightly poor control here by Lobo. Spinning around. Loses a Jackson. The other Jackson hasn't been firing for a long time. He pops off smoke on the Tiger to cover the retreat. The infantry coming back in here. Attack rounds from the Jackson missing. And he gives up the chase. Yeah, really bad control there by Lobo. Just getting his tanks all mixed up. Really needed his infantry to maintain sight on the Tiger that whole time. Help him maintain the 60 range. But the vehicle control wasn't there. And there goes the Jackson. Has fielded himself a priest now. Quite late to be getting a priest, but there's still quite a few VPs on both sides. He's gone for a max range barrage here though. Onto the mechanized truck it looks like. Should be able to knock that out even. Didn't really notice, but the over's up to Vet 2 now. Quiet performance. And here it finally goes. Got a second Muni's cash up by Lobo, so it kind of explains how it's been going for so many time on targets. As well as all the grenades and recon planes. Triple cap against the Axis though, and they are draining out fast.
They're at 200 points.
Sherman's on armor piercing at this stage.
The capture point is being overrun.
Jackson missing that shot though. I think I heard another Katyusha. Oh boy. Oh, AoE hit. Didn't get a clean connection on the Sherman, so it survives. And now the Jackson coming in from the side. He's got the armor piercing rounds equipped. With the coordinated strike coming in. As well as the heavy mortar strike, I think. Jackson. Oh, he wipes his own grenadier. Oh, and there we go. The Jackson getting the job done. Do really get extra damage with those Jackson rounds. I think that's what we saw in effect right there. Oh, there we go. Jagdpanzer down, but there's the low vet Jagdpanzer. Tank destroyer wars on the far side. Oh, big damage. Heat shells engaged on the Jagdpanzer. Jagdpanzer one shot now. ISU could maybe finish it, but the King Tiger's on the attack. Oh, he's got marked vehicle on the KT. ISU's pulled quite far back, though, out of range for a final hit. Oh, there it goes. Oh, and the King Tiger dies as well. Oh, boy. And there we go. With that, the Axis end up throwing in the towel. Yeah, with the Tiger loss and the King Tiger double Jagdpanzers going down in quick succession. Makes sense. Allies able to close that one out. Yeah, overall, the L, I can see what he's going for with the artillery officer. Was making pretty decent use of the Panzerwerfers, but at the same time, he's just constantly lacking anti-tank. His anti-tank gun positioning was lackluster, and getting his Tiger into trouble like that every time he built it with not enough support. That's the issue if you don't rebuild your Grenadiers, don't have Fausts available to help keep those Jacksons away. And yeah, it can backfire on you quite badly. Pretty good play for Hun and Tang Dynasties. He's doing very, very well, but couldn't quite knock out a lot of these tank destroyers, escaping on one shot from his Jagdpanzer King Tiger combo, and eventually the Allies built up enough armor to overwhelm. The ISU on armor piercing combined with the marked vehicle, just a very powerful option, even against heat shell Jagdpanzers and the like. So able to reign supreme in the end. Very good use of the flares. I think the mortar flares, just showing their strength in this game, allowed for so many great artillery strikes and just great control overall. It's a real handful to deal with that KT. That's, what is it, like 67 vision or something? It's got Spearhead and the Panzer Commander upgraded. So having the flares up really helped out. So it might even be worth just building a mortar to get the flares to help you deal with that. If that's what you're encountering in the future. Bit of a shame that he went for that Puma dive on the Katyusha, but never came up here to sweep. If he did, it probably would have been successful. The knockout of that Katyusha would have been a big deal. That was doing massive damage, 58 kills. Well, anyway, guys, wrap on that. If you like good game to be cast by me, details are in the video description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all for the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.